observing the population is performing quite well. So, still, when compared to countries like Timor-Leste, Papua New Guinea, we have room to grow, to improve accessibility and connectivity further. Expanding road infrastructure should remain priority. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 10 years, DGH has completed road and bridges construction in attempt to improve connectivity, including 6,000 kilometers of road construction in strategic areas such as Mandalika Tourism Area in West Nusa Tenggara, Mandeh Tourism Area in West Sumatra, and Nangabado Border Road in West Kalimantan. 30,000 kilometers of toll road construction in main island, including Tanjung Priuk toll road that has a crucial role in supporting urban logistics in Jabodetabek, reducing congestion, and improving connectivity and transportation efficiency. Solo-Jogja toll road that support the regional economy, especially Central Java, Yogyakarta, and support food sufficiency. Trans-Sumatra toll road that accelerate economic development, improve connectivity between regions, and support equitable development on Sumatra Island. By 2024, we have also constructed 29,000 meters of flyover or underpass, including flyover Juanda in East Java and flyover Madukoro in Central Java. As for bridges, we have constructed 123,000 meters, including the Balang Island Bridge in Nusantara capital city, which support connectivity and facilitate logistics. To continue the road network development, DGH has established the general plan of the national road network for 2020 to 2040. So, kita punya rencana umum jalan nasional 20 tahun dari 20 sampai 40. Moving forward, at least 36,000 kilometers of national road will be developed within 20 years. For the national non-toll road, we are planning to increase the length through road construction and also regional road function and status upgrading on every main island of Indonesia. The current level of road services measured by road density is still 2.49 km per 100 square meter. So in all network, municipal, provincial, national, we have 55 km per 100 square meter. But if we see only national road, the density only 2.46 km per 100 square meter. And hopefully by implementing the general plan, the level will be upgraded to 3.5 km per 100 square kilometer in 2040. And then for the toll road, out of 6 Indonesia main island have toll road development plan. Currently, there are 3,000 kilometers of toll road operating in Indonesia, and DGH targeted to develop 1,500 kilometers of toll road will be operated within the next 5 years. Fundamentally, the general plan, as I mentioned, was developed to detail the required road infrastructure measured in support of priority locus as outlined in the 2025 to 2029 National Midterm Development Plan, or RPJMN, such as 20 industrial zones, 13 priority tourism destination, 12 main port, 4 special economic zones, 10 metropolitan area, etc. This priority locus will be supported by DGH in term road and bridge construction, road and bridges preservation, or regional road support. What we call, we have what we call President Instruction, Impres Jalan Daerah. Atau dikenal kita bilangnya janda, Impres janda ya. The new favorit Pak, in Bina Marga. To put more detail on our toll road plan, through the 2025 up to 2029 strategic plan, the total of 44 road segment covering 1,500 kilometers are planned to be handled during this period with an investment cost of 420 trillion rupiah and indicative construction support, so 420 from hopefully from the private sector, but the support from government indicative is 80 trillion rupiah. This include the continuation of Trans-Sumatra Toll Road, Nusantara Capital City Access Toll Road, and toll road in Java, Bali, and Sulawesi Island. Some of the toll road development projects are included in the national strategic project, such as utilities integrated toll road in Sumatra, utilities integrated toll road in Sumatra, Patimban Port, including the Patimban Access Toll Road, Serang Panimbang Toll Road, and Probolinggo Banyuwangi Toll Road. Being included in the national strategic project means this project have strategic, measurable nature and has significant impact on achieving the target of 2025 and 2029 RPJMN, especially the President Priority Program, including the quick wins to improve the quality of human resources, reduce poverty, increase quality and sustainable economic growth, and encourage equitable development. So to achieve all the strategy, we have strategy in the current condition and the future. We must now shift our focus to the strategic planning that is necessary for improving and expanding the road network. We are currently working on implementation of the e-catalog to speed up the procurement and purchasing process and to provide assurance and transparency for business at the time. So all the maintenance preparation work in Bina Marga, the procurement is carried out through e-catalog. The general plan of the public-private partnership project initiated by the DG of Infrastructure Financing as the guidance for project to be offered for private investment. Utilization of technology in business process, which are starting to focus on environmental sustainability and sustainable lean construction. In addition, DGF is also developing construction 4.0, including Internet of Things, big data, sensor, and artificial intelligence. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Public Works has developed toll road, highway, and bridges connecting cities, islands, and underdeveloped areas across the country. We are striving to continue to construct even more roads and bridges to provide a better and safer connectivity and enhance mobility. The point I explained highlight the importance of continuous improvement and collaboration to achieve better outcome. In line with the intention of this conference, I'm eager to see some excitement from foreign and domestic investors to take part in the development of road and bridges to increase connectivity in Indonesia. I personally hope that to meet you all in the person during the event to discuss further. I hope this remark has provided a valuable insight. Thank you for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bapak Wilan, for the remarks. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the first thematic session with the theme Driving Mobility, Scaling Road and Rail Infrastructure for National Integration. Let's welcome the moderator, Bapak Dimas Pratama, Director of PwC Indonesia. Please give a round of applause. And also we would like to invite the panelists of this session, Bapak Hadis Surya Palapa, Business Director of PT Kereta Api Indonesia Persero. Bapak Dwiana Slamet Riyadi, President Director of PT Kereta Cepat Indonesia China. Bapak Agus Hari Surfianto, Senior Vice President Commerce and Business Development of Perusahaan Umum Jawatan Angkutan Motor Republik Indonesia Damri. Bapak Zaldi Ilham Masita, President Director of PT Paksel Algorita Unggul Paksel. Bapak Gilarsi Wahyu Setijono, Presiden Director of PT Vektor Teknologi Mobilitas. To moderator Bapak Dimas, the stage is yours to lead.
Okay, thank you, MC. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon for all of us. As introduced by the MC, I'm Dimas Pratama, Director at PwC Indonesia, and I will be your moderator for this session. Driving mobility, scaling road and rail infrastructure for national integration. First of all, I believe we've heard and become inspired by the remarks from our honorable speakers, Pak Rizal Wasal. Thank you, Pak, for sharing your insights earlier. And also Pak Wilan, thank you, Pak, for sharing your insights on the national road development priorities. And I think we will start this conversation today with some context on the topic. So allow me to give you some context on the topic. Road and rail infrastructure serve as the backbone of both human mobility and the movement of goods. In alignment with its commitment to enhancing national competitiveness, the government of Indonesia has set strategic target to reduce national logistics costs. To connect people and economic centers, land-based transport infrastructure is essential. Over the past decade, Indonesia has made substantial progress, constructing thousands of kilometers of toll road, expanding rail-based transport, including launching the country's first high-speed rail system. However, much work remains. Continued investment in land-based transport infrastructure is critical to unlocking regional economies, improving logistics efficiency, and promoting more balanced national development. This session will explore how sustained investment in roads and railway can drive regional growth, lower logistic costs, and support equitable development across Indonesia. All right, we will now proceed with the panel discussion with our panelists here. And allow me to start with Pak Agus from Damri, Pak. So Damri is known for its extensive bus operation across the nation that connect many different locations. Can you please share with us, Pak, how is Damri planning to improve public transport connectivity across Indonesia? And is there any kind of innovations that already in place or probably still in the ideas? Thanks, please, Pak.
Okay, thank you for moderator, Pak Rizal, Pak Wilan, and all the distinguished audience. And allow me apologize. I think we have can be bilingual, ya, Pak.
Sure, Pak.
Okay, allow me apologize our president director because they cannot coming. So according the question about Damri, please let me introduce first the Damri. I think most of audience know the Damri, but Damri is starting business. Is it BUMN Perum, which is the tugasnya adalah untuk serve masyarakat selain profit oriented, ya. And Damri is our services is people carrier and logistic services. I mean cargo services, and we have seven segment, which is intercity buses and perkotaan, I mean urban buses, and the third is airport buses, and logistic services, also tourism services, and the sixth is tourism services, and then the ALBN, cross-border services, the seven. Yeah, we have present in all the country, all the Indonesian nationwide, and also we also present in Malaysia and Brunei Darussalam, as well Timor Leste. So and for the current services, actually Java still is the biggest size, but we also have services in Pioneer, in the urban 3TP, daerah 3TP, tertinggal, terluar, and also perbatasan. So for that services, so actually we have some strategy. So first is we are actively develop interconnectivity route across Indonesia. So if we know right now the massive development in Sumatera, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi route. So this is our portion to improve the availability in the intercity route. And also the second is the multimodal route in the that area. Like we have 25 airport right now in Java and all the Indonesia, like Medan, Padang, Makassar, and Manado, and also Papua. We have airport services in airport in the area. So we would extend that availability. And then the second thing is expanding accessibility road transportation, especially in that area, 3TP area. So first we strengthen our transportation services. Right now we have already more than 300 road across 3TP area, 3TP tertinggal, terluar, and perbatasan, something like that. And also about 500 buses right now. The challenge is in that area is the sustainability. Also, then not all road can be accessed easily. So that is our challenge. The other strategy is we collaborate with the local governments to build like BRT or by the services. Right now the local government build many local government build the services for their city, like Bandung, Medan, Surabaya, Makassar, and so on. So we build the integrated also in that city from BRT and airport and also the intercity. And the other thing is we serve KSPN area. KSPN right now about 13 location KSPN. So this is our strategy about for the outside Java. And what is the innovation? First is for the fleet modernization. this is we are starting modernization our fleet. Like in Transjakarta, we have also services in Transjakarta. So we are one of the biggest operator in Transjakarta, and right now we have modernized with EV basis. We already run about 116 EV buses, and within this year will be run about 200 EV buses more in 2025. One of them from Pak Gilarsi. Yeah. The second thing is about the smart mobility integration. Smart mobility integration is for the online ticketing, cashless payment, real-time basis tracking, and so on. Which is we have to enhance the convenience of customer and also the efficiency. Okay. And the other thing is customer centric. We call customer centric service enhancements. So, of course, we serve what is the customer want. So we create various services. We give Wi-Fi on bus. We develop or improve our area, our terminal, something like that, station, yeah. And the other thing is, of course, with the new technology, we have to explore and the innovative technology. So, as you know, AI and big data, we monetize that for our customer. Yeah.
Okay.
So we develop some routine planning, dynamic pricing, something like that. Okay.
All right.
And the other thing is the innovation is about the maintenance and the training center. So we already develop our bus repair and spray booth for the
Yeah.
Yep, something like that.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Hari, for sharing your insights on Damri's latest development. And it's reassuring to see that the national bus operators is still trying to keep evolving, Pak, to answer the demand from the community. And okay, now I will move on from bus to railway. Okay, so Pak Hadis from KAI. KAI has a long history, Pak, in Indonesian railway with its large operation, especially in Java with its passenger railway and in Sumatra with its freight railway as well. Could you please share with us, Pak, what is the current objectives and priorities from KAI to support interconnectivity across Indonesia, Pak?
Yes, thank you, Pak Dimas. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, as you mentioned before that we have a very long story, Kereta Api Indonesia. Our goals as for in the midterm of time. Now we try to provide to deliver services where their safety and their punctuality and also comfort for our passenger or our client, so that we can be reliable to our customer. Safety is our foundation. With this foundation, we believe that other services can be delivered uh, with the quality as what the customer need. Punctuality also, as we believe that this is also about trust. Punctuality. This is about reliable. When customer believe to us, trust to us that the time that they provide to go to one place is exactly the same or equally the same to the reality. So we believe that they will use a train or railways basis again and again. And comfort also. We deliver experience to our customers so that we provide innovation in our passenger trains and also in the freight trains. Beside that, safety, comfortable, and also the punctuality. I mean, our punctuality, I can mention that now about 99.7% is the rate of the punctuality for the train of passenger, and for the freight is about 90%. So it is very useful for our customer to trust to use our services and use as a passenger. And in the services for passenger, we develop our system, our application, so that in all spot where the customer want to use train, starting from the house when they start to choose what train when they have to go, when they want to go, and when they buy the ticket already by our application, and when they go to the station, in the station also, our digital services is already there, like face recognition. And when, for example, if the passenger want to buy or order food, they can also use our application. So that our application is very, very useful for our customer. And for the operation also, our commitment to the ESG also is prevail. We commit to reduce our carbon emission as much as possible. If we compare our carbon emission compared to, let's say, compared to truck or bus, it is nearly 10 times carbon emission can be reduced if we use train as the mode for the transportation. That is our main goal in the midterm area and for the current strategy.
All right, thank you, Pak Hadis. Yeah, we hope KAI can keep being the role model, Pak, for railway sector in Indonesia, ya, Pak, ya, and keep being the number one choice for travelers in Indonesia. Okay, I'll move on to Pak Edo. Pak Edo, Wush is the latest favorite mode of transport for Indonesian people, Pak. Would you please tell us a bit, Pak, your opinion about how has high-speed rail transformed intercity mobility, Pak, and what kind of development is in the plan, Pak, for Wush going forward?
Baik, thank you Pak Dimas. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Dwiana, CEO ICI. I'm glad to be here to share about WUS. So relevant with the question from Pak Dimas. Based on our experience, WUS has transformed intercity mobility, especially between Jakarta and Bandung. Since starting operation on October 2023, WUS has transported 9.7 million passenger, whose passenger is increasing until now. The highest passenger volume occur in May 10, 2025. 25,000 passenger using WUS in a single day. WUS is not only a B2B project. WUS symbolize strong cooperation between two nations, Indonesia and China. And WUS is not only the first high-speed railway operated in ASEAN, but also WUS is the 100% technology high-speed railway from China implemented the another country. And the leader of both country, President Prabowo, presidency, have a great and committed to ensuring sustainability WUS. And I think two leader acknowledge WUS has impact to the region and economic development. And WUS is not only model transportation, WUS has become a new lifestyle. 142 distance between Jakarta and Bandung, if you're using WUS, it's no longer barrier. With the 350 kilometers per hour speed, WUS make impossible as possible. And with the 62 frequency, 62 trip per day, and interval 30 minutes, travel time about 30 until 50 minutes. I think we can traveling Bandung to Jakarta for or more time in one day. Jakarta Bandung, Bandung Jakarta, Jakarta Bandung, bolak-balik. That is a commuting. So we can say if you using WUS, Jakarta Bandung journey is not intercity mobility, but commuting mobility. And then if we want to go to another city from the Bandung, for example, we stay in Kota Baru Parayangan, we can use WUS from the Padarang station, go to Halim station, continue airport Halim, take only about 50 minutes, and you can book a ticket, all ticket, just with one application, I think. With the WUS application, or maybe with application has partner with WUS, like KAI Access, Traveloka, ticket.com. WUS ticket, hotel, taxis, sometimes order food, like Pak Hadis, can use with application. So it's very simple and make it easier. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Edo. Making impossible to possible, ya Pak ya?
Yes.
All right. Okay, we do have high hopes, Pak, for a WUS future advancement. All right. Now I'll move on from passenger to goods transport. Pak Zaldi from Paxel. Paxel has been known for its same-day delivery services which is very reliable and very useful for many of the people in Indonesia. So could you please share with us, as a tech-based career and last mile company, how is Paxel addressing the challenges of deliveries across Indonesia's diverse geographic landscape? Is there any challenges and lesson learned that you could share with us?
Yeah, thanks, Pak Dimas, and thanks for inviting us to this event. And I think I go direct to answer the questions. Indonesia the logistics is very challenging and very unreliable, and that's why logistic cost in Indonesia is very high, because the uncertainty is very high. So, and I think the government and state-owned they are focusing on passenger, but very little focusing in the goods on that. So some fact that what we see how bad our logistics is. If you send a 20-footer container from Jakarta to Surabaya, is around 800 kilometers. Using trucks door to door is 6 million rupees. But if I send through rail, is 8 million rupees. If I send by sea, is 11 million rupees. So this is only happen in the world, only in Indonesia. The lowest cost is the fastest one. And that's why, if based on the data in the Ministry of Transport, 80% of goods transport in Indonesia is by land. With the archipelago country with 80% through land, there is something wrong. And if you're doing by land, like a toll highway, actually is a lot of hidden costs. When your goods 80% through the truck or land using highway, the hidden cost is the fuel subsidized is very high on that. So now what happened in Java actually will happen in Sumatra. When the trans toll from Lampung to Medan is happen also in Sumatra. So now you already see from Palembang to Jakarta in 11 hours we can send goods. So air cargo between Palembang to Jakarta is empty now. Also a sea freight. So when the road is going connect until Medan, we can see that is moving goods to land is higher and higher. It means the subsidize of fuel is going up. So I think that is quite not good plan for Indonesia, and that because our logistic is very unreliable, and that's why if we like see the 6 million by truck and 11 million by sea, and I'm glad that Pak Parisali is as a boss of multimoda. Actually, if the multimoda is really work, the sea freight cost should be lower than 6 million, because it's in the many area. Outside Indonesia, truck is the highest one compared to sea. But in Indonesia, the truck is cheaper than sea. That is very strange. So that kind of things is actually make a big opportunity for Indonesia. So in terms of Paxel, we try always using hybrid. And what we see, if the area, one province, if you have less than 2 modes of transport, that area is not good for growth. So for example, I give you for Makassar. Makassar, we only have 2 options, air freight and sea freight. Air freight is very high but fast, but sea freight is very low and cheap, but it's not going anywhere. But what we see in cities in Java or Sumatra is going very fast, because they have more than 2 modes. They have air, sea, land. So actually what we see, if more access to the more multimodal access to the one city, we can see the growth of that city is become very fast. So we just, for our business, we just tip on what the infrastructure that built for the government, and we also like that for the mode of passenger, if they can make hybrid, we can use some of their load for the goods. That will be very good, because we can get the same speed like the passengers on that. So I think there is a big challenge for Indonesia when we need to have a very strong multimodal. That's I'm glad Pak Rizal here. So because Indonesia is actually is a multimodal country. So that what we want to look forward. Thanks Pak Dimas.
All right, thank you, Pak Zaldi. Interesting insights, Pak. So yeah, we hope that the integration of multimodal transport in Indonesia could, keep advancing to the next level with Pak Rizal as well as the spearhead, obviously. Now, I would like to explore a bit on one of the latest trend in Indonesia, which is electric vehicle. Pak Gilarsi, Vector is a company focused on EV technology and solutions. We'd like to hear your opinions about how can sustainable technologies such as electric buses and EV fleets can be scaled across Indonesia public and freight transport system. Please, Pak.
Thank you, Dimas. Thank you for having me here. It's very interesting to talk about new kid on the block. EV in Indonesia, especially in the commercial vehicles, is still quite new. This is quite excellent response from the government of Indonesia to start ratificating the COP21 of Paris 2015. And I think the next year Indonesia ratified that 2016, and then 2019 immediately we have a Purpose 59 to allow the regulations of EV start to be operated in Indonesia. Being pioneer is very difficult, but Vector itself start to introduce this EV bus to Indonesia is in 2018, where the regulations umbrella was not there yet. So it's quite tough. Imagine when we try to get the license plate to allow the bus to be tested on the street, we are being asked, okay, what's the CC of this bus, right? CC is the volume of the engine of the diesel equivalent, right? Of course, what's the emission level? It's quite a difficult conversation at the beginning. However, we are here, and lucky also we have Damri start using our bus as well to serve Jakarta especially. Now, let's talk about how is it possible to push this, to accelerate the adoptions of EV transportations in Indonesia. Pak Zaldi rightly mentions two things. Number one, transportation in Indonesia is heavily on the road. Number two, again, rightly mentions about heavily subsidy on the diesel fuel in Indonesia. That's really the biggest challenge of the adoptions of EV. Imagine, Pak Rizal, I have to run with truck for the logistic purpose, where the truck cost itself is twice of the regular truck. And the regular truck is subsidized by the government. Every single liter, you pay only 6,800 rupiah, right? While if you have to buy unsubsidized, I think it's about 14,000. In that context, EV cannot compete. But in the area, like in the mining, in the plantations industries, where the diesel subsidized is not allowed, then it's become making sense, because the cost of ownerships of having this EV compared to diesel fuel, never mind about the carbon footprint effect of that. It's just purely about cost and benefit. Business to business, they love to have EV. Only one reason is because it saves them a lot of hassle. Lesser moving part, meaning lesser maintenance costs and also lesser problem. One of the logistic issue that Pak Zaldi is experiencing, also many other logistic friends experiencing, is the phenomena that diesel fuel in Indonesia is kencing di jalan, Pak. Right? Kencing di jalan means, somebody is stealing the fuel and sell it somewhere, right? With EV, of course, that's not possible. what are you going to steal, right? Except just maybe charge your handphone, right? So that's another thing that business would love to have that. The problem now is only we are facing the problem of unequal, unlevel competitions between the ICE vehicles and EV vehicles. Of course, having a technology mindset behind the vehicles, like you see today, many cars being sold in Indonesia comparable with 2 years ago technology, same kind of technology, even better technology, the car cost for EV is a lot cheaper compared to 2 years ago. You never experience that for ICE vehicles. If you buy ICE vehicles today and the next model next year, is guaranteed that it will be more expensive. But buying EV today, it's just like buying a handphone. You know, next year is better technology or cheaper. That is the promise of EV. But that will happen only under one circumstances. What is that? The volume. Indonesia, if the government do not want to really push the volume for the adoptions, then the price cannot go lower. It's just like chicken and egg, right? Now, let's go back a little bit. Before talking about the adoptions, I would really push that the government really revisiting, Pak Rizal, the policy framework of this EV. Is it true that we really want to have EV in Indonesia? If that's true, then at least we need to revisit the policy on the subsidy of the solar fuel, of diesel fuel. We need to do that. Because the mechanism will not work if the diesel fuel is still being subsidized. We've been talking with Pak Luhut before, but still, yes, the acknowledgement is there, but the actual change has not been implemented. So I think that's the biggest issue. But other than that, of course, we are talking about the infrastructure, etc., etc. As a technology, if we will be based on what is adopted today, is where the application is a model of make run. You know, coming back to the original positions, having a road of coming back to the same positions. Like for example, Damri is having a bus station. Only one-time charge in the night, in the morning is already full, running for about 220 kilometers for a whole day, and then coming back, maybe 20-30% still left, the battery, and recharge that again. So it does not require the public facility for the charging. But if you are working for logistic, like Zaldi, for example, working with long-distance logistic, without having infrastructure is impossible. And also another thing, infrastructure is not necessarily that we have to have it, but we have to measure also what's the population size, how many infrastructure we have. Technology can start adopting that. Like for example, charging like newest generations of battery today can be done within or maybe with 5C model. 5C models meaning that from 0 to 100, it will require only 20 minutes, which is very good, right? Can it be better? Yes, technology is still there. You know, the upgrade of the technology is still there. And it will eventually go to 10C. 10C is meaning that only 6 minutes to complete from 0 to 100, which is something that has to be supported by the ecosystem. Like for example, the smart grid of the PLN, the availability of because Indonesia is quite difficult to manage the smart grid. We understand that. It will require some investment, but I know the time is running. Just one closing statement. So number one is policy framework. Number two is infrastructure. Once we have that, I think the market will take by itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Gilarsi. So EV saves a lot of hassle, Pak, but to make the actual changes, revisiting policy framework is a must. Okay, I think that's one lesson that we can take. And as we conclude today's panel discussion on driving mobility and scaling road and rail infrastructure, let's reflect on the insights shared and the challenges we've acknowledged. Our dialogue reaffirms that collaboration between governments, industry, and communities is crucial to creating an integrated transport network that not only enhances connectivity, but also drives economic growth and inclusivity. Thank you to our panelists and audience for contributing to this vital conversation. Your expertise has greatly enhanced the depth and value of this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the panelists and moderator. We will now take a group photo. So please stay on the stage and gather at the center of the stage to pose. Once again, please, for all the panelists and moderator to stay on the stage because we will take a group photo. All right. Please pose for the camera in 3, 2, 1. Once again, let's pose for the camera. For Pak Rizal, please come to the stage. Now please pose for the camera in 3, 2, 1. Once more, we will take a group photo. Please pose in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Please give a round of applause for all the panelists and moderator for today's session. You may all return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, the IC 2025 project catalog provides a comprehensive overview of infrastructure projects proposed by line ministries, state-owned enterprises, and government institutions. You can access the full catalog at infrastructureconference.id/project/catalog. Each project listing includes a contact person. Please feel free to reach out directly. If you would like to arrange a one-on-one meeting, instructions are provided in the catalog. For more in-depth engagement, we have also scheduled information session for business matching on Thursday, June 12th, hosted by project owners, Ministry of Housing and Settlements in Nuri Room at 9 a.m. Also, Ministry of Public Works in Murai Room at 12:30 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, as the first session is over, you may please exit the room to enjoy coffee break located at the foyer. And you may also visit the plenary hall to join the keynote speech from Bapak Marwar Sirait, Minister of Housing and Settlements of Republik Indonesia, with the theme Providing Homes for the People, Ensuring Affordability and Accessibility. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to host this first session. I'm Raisa. See you at the next session with theme Infrastructure Ecosystem in Power Sector from Satuan Tugas Transisi Energi and Ekonomi Hijau.
Hutama Karya present our innovations in the construction industry with every changing era. Supported by the professionals in their fields, the latest construction technology operation techniques. We commit to generate best outcomes, aiming to deliver an equitable distribution of beneficial infrastructure for the entire country and build a bright future for our civilization. Our flagship infrastructure works from bridges, buildings, dams, and sustainable toll road infrastructures, showcasing our high commitment to protecting nature and the environment. We believe that our every step will shape our future, ensuring a developed future Indonesia. Hutama Karya, innovation for solution.
Impian untuk hidup yang lebih berwarna, lebih dekat, lebih berarti. Karena rumah bukan sekadar bangunan, tapi sebuah benih untuk masa depan. Ini visi kami untuk menjadi pengembang pemukiman dan perumahan rakyat terpercaya di Indonesia. Bersama sejumlah lembaga terkemuka, Perumnas menyatukan impian dan menenun harapan kepemilikan rumah bagi setiap anak negeri. Dalam kebersamaan, kita menciptakan dunia bagi benih muda untuk tumbuh, belajar, dan berkembang. Perumnas, sebuah simfoni mimpi di mana setiap sekatnya membawa benih harapan akan masa depan yang lebih cerah. Bersama, kita bisa mewujudkan impian di tanah air tercinta.
For more than 7 decades, PLN has carried out the state's mandate to electrify the whole Indonesian archipelago. PLN is entering a new chapter in its transformation, aiming to become not just a power and utility company, but also a technology company based on innovations. All of this is to improve service quality, strengthening the domestic industrial ecosystem, and increasing competitiveness in the global stage. For more than 7 decades, PLN has carried out the state's mandate to electrify the whole Indonesian archipelago. With an installed power generation capacity of more than 75 gigawatts, PLN serves more than 90 million customers in sharpening its vision as the leading electricity company in Southeast Asia and as the #1 customer choice for energy solutions. PLN continues to develop programs on an ongoing basis, strengthening its role as the heart of Indonesia for the sustainability of energy supply and the transition to renewable energy. Now, PLN is entering a new chapter in its transformation, aiming to become not just a power and utility company, but also a technology company based on innovations. All of this is to improve service quality, strengthening the domestic industrial ecosystem, and increasing competitiveness in the global stage. The new PLN 4.0, unleashing energy and beyond. For more than 7 decades, PLN has carried out the state's mandate to electrify the whole Indonesian archipelago. With an installed power generation capacity of more than 75 gigawatts, PLN serves more than 90 million customers in sharpening its vision as the leading electricity company in Southeast Asia and as the #1 customer choice for energy solutions. PLN continues to develop programs on an ongoing basis, strengthening its role as the heart of Indonesia for the sustainability of energy supply and the transition to renewable energy. Now, PLN is entering a new chapter in its transformation, aiming to become not just a power and utility company, but also a technology company based on innovations. All of this is to improve service quality, strengthening the domestic industrial ecosystem, and increasing competitiveness in the global stage. The new PLN 4.0, unleashing energy and beyond.
Ini cerita akselerasi kita yang selalu aja ada tantangan pas kita lagi melesat.
Berat banget ya.
Mau nyerah aja? Enggak kan?
No lah, big no.
Bagus. Ini waktunya akselerasi. Makin banyak tantangan, makin banyak jalan. Ya nggak sih? Yoi! Asal... niat! Nah, gitu. Kalau mau berakselerasi itu harus rame-rame.
Rame ini.
Yes, mantap.
Menyala bangku.
Yeah! Gak cuma sekedar wujudin mimpi, tapi ciptain inovasi. Semangat akselerasi ngedorong kita untuk terus berkolaborasi, biar ngasih impact positif buat bangsa Indonesia. Ayo, wujudin swasembada energi dengan terus berakselerasi tanpa henti. Pertamina, energizing the acceleration, energizing you.
Perubahan pasti terjadi. Tak bisa dihindari, taklukkan semua ambisi. Berjalan seiring perubahan, jelajahi semua kemajuan zaman. Tunjukkan pada dunia, kita mampu berelevasi jadi bangsa yang luar biasa.
Tumbuh kembang kami juga memberikan makna dan arti. Betapa pentingnya peran kami yang tak pernah lepas dalam hadirkan konektivitas. Kami yakin dan mampu untuk terus lewati batas dan merajut konektivitas. Indonesia.
Introducing In-Journey Airports, a new era in Indonesian aviation. We are proud to become the world's 5th largest airport operator, with 37 airports across the archipelago, serving over 170 million passengers annually. Together, we are building airports that make our nation proud. In-Journey Airports, the gateway of the nation.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the thematic session of the International Conference on Infrastructure. Please enter Nuri, room 1, and be seated because our event will begin shortly. A gentle reminder to please ensure that all mobile devices are switched to silent mode. Thank you.
Kami percaya bahwa setiap hasil yang kami ciptakan adalah komitmen dari tanggung jawab kami menjawab perubahan. Perubahan menuju masa depan yang lebih baik, menciptakan mimpi menjadi kenyataan, mimpi bagi banyak orang, dan memberikan solusi untuk kemudahan. Kami merupakan manufaktur kereta api yang terintegrasi pertama di Asia Tenggara. Fokus kami adalah menghasilkan produk yang berkualitas tinggi di bidang perkeretaapian. Kami adalah mitra untuk membangun masa depan. Kami terus menatap ke depan untuk terus berinovasi, mengembangkan visi besar, membangun industri transportasi yang lebih baik.
Once again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please enter the ballroom because the thematic session is about to begin. Please be seated. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the thematic session of the International Conference on Infrastructure. It's an honor for me to be the host in this afternoon. I'm Raisa Azahra, and in this exceptional opportunity, we have an exciting lineup of 2 thematic sessions on thought-provoking themes. Let's get started with our second thematic session. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our session for today, we will now hear the remarks from Deputy Coordinating Minister for Basic Infrastructure, Coordinating Ministry for Infrastructure and Regional Development, Bapak Rahmat Kaimuddin. We invite Bapak Rahmat to please come forward and the stage is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you are not bored of seeing me because I may have speak a little bit in some of these sessions before. Maybe on this event, allow me to reiterate a few things. In the previous sessions, someone asked me, what is our vision? What is my vision on power? And I mentioned that we in the government, bureaucrats should not have visions. We execute the visions of our leaders. And what is the visions of our leaders is, in terms of energy, related to energy is, we want to achieve high economic growth, and we also want to achieve self-reliance, self-sufficiency in energy. Of course, maybe for some of our foreign guests here in this conference, I want to quickly show what are the kind of developmental challenges that Indonesia has. We have increasing population, 1.1% of population increase every year. That is about 3 million people. Stunting rate today is about 20%, still very, very high. Poor population, 8.5%. Number 6 with the highest country in ASEAN. This is not acceptable for us. I think we need to fix it. About $5,000 GDP per capita, and these 2 numbers below, we still import about 60% of our oil and 80% of our LPG. And this is the crux of the matter if you want to achieve energy self-sufficiency. Of course, we want to increase economic growth, eradicate poverty, improve human quality of life. But let's focus quickly on the focus energy self-sufficiency. Sorry, back. This is the chart of Indonesian energy balance, if you will. Indonesia as a country, we produce about 3,600 million barrel of oil equivalent. We use about 1,900 million barrel of oil equivalent. This is before we convert it into electricity and others. We export about 2,000. So we are very wealthy in terms of energy. We export a lot, but we also import about 400. And that is where the oil and LPG comes in. So what is our task for energy self-sufficiency is that we need to transition from the imported fossil into domestic, hopefully renewable. So that is the goal. And luckily for the two things that we discussed, oil, which is mostly used for transport, and LPG mostly for cooking, there is a way to electrify it. And of course, in order to make that happen, we need to create a robust electricity system. Another thing that, sorry, next slide please. Where is it? Oh, okay, too many. Okay, sorry. In some of the discussions we have with our colleagues, we've been discussing about energy transition, maybe in the past 3 years. I see some of our German colleagues, JP colleagues here. I would like to remind us in the context of we are a growing country, developing country, GDP $5,000. We cannot afford exactly to do the same things that our developed countries' colleagues can do. It's very different to do something where you have $5,000 GDP and if you have $50,000 or $80,000 GDP. So sometimes we need to make choices, and being an ex-consultant that I am, I try to create a 2x2 matrix here. We need to check whether whatever that we do, does it increase GDP, for example? So if the answer is yes, maybe we'll consider it. And then also another aspect is the environmental aspect. Sometimes we only talk about the environmental aspect. But if it's not good economically, we may need to prioritize something else. So, for example, in the blue matrix, right? If it's good for environment, good for economy, for sure, just do it. One of the things that we can think of, for example, is electrifying transport. Good for environment, reduce oil import, saving subsidy, good for economy, let's do it. So that's why we push that a lot. Building renewables, increase investment, good for environment, great. We want to do it, especially in the case whereby we don't have oversupply situation. When we have oversupply situation, of course the chart flips. So 3 years ago, some of our colleagues was pushing us, build more renewables. We are probably at the time a little bit hesitant, but right now apparently we're no longer in the oversupply situation. Then let's build more renewables. We'll increase investments and whatnot. Sometimes it's quite difficult choice that we are facing. Good for environment, not good for economy. Like shutting down economically effective coal-fired power plants. That is when we said, please help us. How can we mitigate the impact of shutting down coal-fired power plants? Because if you have like very young coal fleets and you want to shut it down, of course that is going to be costly for economy. So these are the kind of things that we are facing. But good thing is that, and the reason why I'm insisting to have this event today as well, is that now Indonesia and Indonesian state-owned power plant like PLN have come out with the new RUPTL. We've been waiting for this for over maybe 2 years, at least for me. And it shows that Indonesian commitment to build more renewables is very clear. It's now documented. It's now kind of like out in the world. I think of the we are building 69.5 gigawatt of power plants, including storage. That is almost the same as the current capacity of PLN. So we want to double PLN, almost double PLN capacity in 10 years. And majority of it is actually renewables. So hopefully with this, no more doubt about Indonesian commitment to energy transition, to do energy transition in electricity. And maybe my last point is this. I've been promised by a lot of people that if you lower your carbon intensity per kilowatt hour, you will get more investment. And I think if we do this, we are waiting for those non-power investments. So I'm hoping some of your colleagues here, the bankers, whatever, please do let us know who are the potential investors who wants lower carbon electricity. Our RUPTL is planning to provide that to all of these people. With that, I think that's all I want to say today. I'm standing behind some great minds here. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bapak Rahmat Kaimuddin, for the insightful remarks. Now, we will hear remarks from Director, Energy Conservation, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Bapak Hendra Iswahyudi. To Bapak Hendra, please come forward and the stage is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Excellencies Pak Rahmat Kaimuddin, panelists and moderator, happy glad to be here. We want to as a keynote speech to explain more briefly about infrastructure roadmap on new renewable energy and energy conservation. We just a reminder, how about the Astacita in Swasembada energy to strengthening the country's defense and security system and encourage national independence through self-sufficiency in food, especially in energy, water, creative economy, green economy, and blue economy. And then Swasembada energy is of the fundamental derived to the such as trilema energy in energy security, energy availability, and sustainable environmental. And we in Indonesia version we have 4A parameter. I like the same for the derivative and energy. Trilema energy, and based on the calculation for to the criteria in for a parameter, Indonesia have resilient. I think we have to improve to highly resilient in the future. This is Indonesia at glance. We have 38 provinces. We have population 281 million, 17,000 islands. We have GDP per capita nearly $5,000. Economic growth in 2024 5.3, and also we have electricity consumption in 140 19 kWh per capita. We have some we have some potential. Indonesia has abundant renewable resources dispersed in some of provinces in Indonesia. The total potential is nearly 4,000 megawatt or 3.7 gigawatt. We have also roadmap of net zero emission. We have a target in end of the 2060. We have 129 million ton of carbon equivalent. We have 6 strategy to achieve the target. The first one is development of renewable energy on-grid and also off-grid. CCS, CCUS, we also development of new renewable energy. New energy. We have nuclear. We also encourage the hydrogen and ammonia. For electrification, we have electric vehicle, cooking, also agriculture, and energy efficiency. Also, we have planning to moratorium of new coal fire power plant based on Presidential Regulation 112/2022. Some of strategies in transport, industry, and commercial essential. We have make some strategies year by year to achieve 129 million ton of equivalent of carbon. How about the target of additional power plant capacity and RUPTL PLN 2025 until 2034? Special for geothermal, we have a potential 24 gigawatt and utilization 2.7 gigawatt. Indonesia will be the first geothermal electricity producer in the world in 2030, surpassing the USA. We have some strategic program for direct use or non-use direct of geothermal. We have optimizing potential through developing low-hanging fruit geothermal power plant project, geothermal for utilization, and also we have some incentive for government drilling by Geological Agency and PTSME, and also geothermal region offers, and we have some information system for geothermal energy. How about the hydro? We also have the target of additional power plant, and national we have roughly 12 gigawatt international dispatched from each of island or system. Special for potential of hydro, we encourage project both large and medium scale that are ready to be developed. We have also preparing the Batang Toru hydroelectric, and also special for collaboration with Ministry of Public Work. We encourage to accelerate it to develop hydroelectric through the dam, and also for KPBU scheme, total capacity roughly 446 megawatt. About the solar, also we have some high potential for solar development. Target of additional power plant in RUPTL as a national, we have 17 gigawatt for national, and dispersed from the each of our system. We also we have strategic program for rooftop solar. We have some quota we have some capacity quota until 2028 about roughly 1.6 gigawatt. Also, based on RUPTL, the total capacity target until 2034 is 17 gigawatt, and also including 14.7 gigawatt of Ministry of Public Works Dam. How about the wind power? We have the potential 155 gigawatt. And how about the target of the additional power plant? We have the 7.2 gigawatt on the national and dispute in its system. How about the ocean? We also target of additional power plant in RUPTL 0.04 gigawatt. The first commercial ocean tidal power plant in Indonesia will be developed with a target operation in 2028 of 14 megawatt, consists 20 megawatt in NTT and 20 megawatt in Nusa Tenggara Barat. Also, bioenergy development, we have biomass for co-firing for coal power plant in PLN power plant, and so biogas and waste. Waste special for waste to energy, implementing waste for acceleration from PLTSA in accordance with Presidential Regulation 35/2018. We currently under process for revision, encouraging the processing of municipal waste to RDF or other fuel. And then we have new energy development, nuclear power plant target in the RUKN 35 gigawatt in 2060. And also for RUPTL, we have target 500 megawatt built in 2032 and 2033. Currently, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources is in the process of the establishment of the nuclear energy program implementing organization review, and also we set up the new regulation of new and renewable energy law. We have also national roadmap on hydrogen and ammonia, special for hydrogen target in the RUKN. We have 25 gigawatt in 2060, started in 2051, and also ammonia target in the RUKN and 8 gigawatt in year 2016, started in 2045. PLN's HRS in Senayan utilize excess green hydrogen of 128.3 ton per year to serve around 438 VGF-based hydrogen cars annually. And also in Karawang, Toyota HRS equipped with two types of pressure system, 350 bar for forklift, and also 700 bar for VCEF vehicle and VC truck. Also biofuel development, biodiesel, bioethanol, and biofuel. We also develop currently Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources is preparing of the states of utilizing biofuel as a derivative of Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources Regulation number 4 in year 2025. Also, downstream site management of energy conservation, we have to improve energy efficiency. We have strategy such as energy management, minimum energy performance standard and labeling, and also we build energy service company to accelerate the implementation of energy management. This is a guideline on PPA. We have a new regulation number 5/2025 concerning guideline for the power purchase agreement from power plants that utilize renewable energy sources. We have some of strategic point applied to renewable energy power plants such as geothermal, hydro, solar PV, wind, biomass, biogas, ocean by fuel waste and new energy. Some strategies, such as the first one is regulation of the rights and obligation of PLN and power plant developers, PPL, including risk allocation, force major payment scheme, and also penalties for both parties in more detail for renewable energy power plant. And also we have prioritization of renewable energy power plant, optimization of the utilization and mechanism of purchase excess energy, and also provisions for the extension of the power purchase agreement PPA contract, cooperation patterns with BOO, another mechanism, also ownership of the right of the environmental attribute or carbon economic value. We have also make some input for the revision of President Regulation nilai ekonomi carbon, such as we have some this. Okay, yeah. We have this the end of slide. We have some investment in power generation for next 10 years. For new renewable energy, we have 61% and storage 15%. We have some of calculating for investment 1,062.4 triliun rupiah for IPP and also for PLN. Maybe this some of describe of the presentation in as a keynote speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bapak Hendra, for the remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, the second thematic session with the theme Infrastructure Ecosystem in Power Sector. Let's welcome moderator Bapak Ahmad Firdaus, Energy Transition and Project Specialist of Indonesia Energy Transition Implementation Joint Office. Please give a round of applause. Also, we would like to invite the panelists of this session. Bapak Edo Mahendra, Executive Chairperson of Indonesia Energy Transition Implementation Joint Office. Please come forward to the stage. Bapak Daniel Lestanto, Executive Vice President of Retail Sales and Customer Service PT PLN Persero. Bapak Rino Dono Seputro, Chief Executive Officer of Standard Chartered Bank Indonesia. And Bapak Arthur Simatupang, Chairperson of Indonesian Independent Power Producer Association, APLSI. To the moderator, the stage is yours to lead.
Okay, thank you to the presenter. Good morning, everyone. All good here? The spirit always a morning, even in afternoon conditions. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pak Honorable Pak Rahmat and Pak Hendra for having me in this session. I would like to we start the discussion, panel discussion. We will start about the discussion how we accelerated our infrastructure ecosystem in power sectors. We would like to ask the panelists, and please to everyone here to pay close attention because our material is non-material, only we will discuss, and please pay attention. If there's any questions, we would like to give the participant section about the questions. Thank you. So, first thing first, this is about the power sectors. In here, we have PLN sites with Pak Daniel here, and we will start with Pak Daniel. Okay, Pak Daniel. We know the previous presentation from Pak Hendra says that the business development plan or RUPTL will conduct almost 10 for 10 years ahead is almost 70 gigawatt. So in Pelent sites, how PLN strategize this plan? We have 70 gigawatt supply here for 10 years ahead. So what kind of PLN strategy to fill all the supply with the demand itself?
Okay, thank you very much. As we can see at the previous presentation by Mr. Rahmat Kemuddin and then the other presentation, we all know that in our RUPTL, in 10 years RUPTL and 2025 until 2034, we will conduct for power plant almost 70 gigawatt, and then 76% become from renewable energy. It means that almost 42 gigawatt will come up with renewable energy. And what strategy for PLN? We can, as a own state company, energy company in Indonesia, we make sure that we will provide and we will support for the government regulation. It means the government said that we will create a renewable energy for the next 10 years, and then there is no reason for PLN not to support for this. And the strategy is we try to collaborate with the other party, maybe not only from PLN side, maybe the investment not only from PLN, because if we talk about PLN, we talk about this government that should provide to fulfill the whole investment, and we have to collaborate with other party, maybe for bank or maybe the other investor that will come to Indonesia. And we already have some planning that we will put some renewable energy power plant in the spread of the Indonesia, the whole Indonesia, and we also have a planning to evacuate the power between one island to the other island with the grid system, the grid system for renewable energy.
Okay, thank you, Pak Daniel. And also, we would like to ask with Pak Arthur, as we know, also from the previous presentation from Pak Hendra says that we having a huge amount of the investment. It almost 1.6 quadrillion rupiah should be provided to implementing the projects within the RUPTL, the new RUPTL. So the question is, how can regulatory certainty and risk sharing mechanism will be improved to support the IPP involvement in the energy transition?
First of all, I think from the private sector, we really welcome this new launch RUPTL. I think it's a very aggressive and I think it's very ambitious, right? The target of 69.1 gigawatt the next 10 years will require an additional install capacity of at least 6 gigawatts per year, right, on average. So that's a big target, right, for us to achieve. And I think, as we can all tell, the 2/3 of it, at least, not including the battery storage, will be coming from renewable energy. So I think it's a very good signal, right? A very clear roadmap from the government, right? From ESDM, and it's very much in line with the energy policy, RUKN, and we would like to see this as something that is very relevant to the current demand, right? Of having decarbonization is one of its priority, right? So from the private sector, I think we would like to see more of the investment, not just from the power generation side, but of course, I think from the commercial aspect, of course, it's going to be very important, right? Private sector always look at risk as well as reward, right, and return. I think the commercial aspect is very important. we have someone, very senior from the banking side. I think, bankability will be very important, right? So I think this all ties in, right, to the fact that we want to accelerate this. So the most important is actually to make these projects very bankable, right? Commercially viable, right? Technically feasible, right? All these aspects. But the good thing about it, I think, Indonesia, without the new plan from the new president of wanting to target 8% GDP growth, right? At the moment, it's already growing at 5%, which is probably the highest in terms of global and regional, right? So we have a good baseline already in terms of high economic GDP growth, right? So that shows that the economy is growing, right? There's a lot of movement activities, right? Even with the current turmoil, right? This is still one of the best region, one of the best country to invest in, right? And I think renewables is at the forefront of the government's priority at the moment. So I think, our job as the private sector is to collaborate with PLN, right? Our job is actually to be part that implements this, to execute this successfully, right? Making sure that there is a profitable collaboration, right, with the stakeholders, government, SOE. PLN is one of our prime partner, of course, in this, right, because the scheme is, a lot of it will be on the IPP, right, making sure there is a bankable, standardized PPA there going forward, right, whatever source of energy is. So I think a lot of this will be ironed out going forward, right. We would like to see the procurement to start rolling as soon as the RUPTL is launched, so we can start internalizing and doing all the project feasibility. So again, this is a good welcome, right? I think private sector is very much ready. A lot of the members from APLSE has a successful track record, right, in doing a lot of project de-risking. A lot of the members are the large energy companies, a lot of them are public listed. They are now ESG compliant, so this is something that is on the big on their menu, right, to decarbonize, right, to look at the carbon market as an enabler and a lot of things, right. So I think Indonesia is ready for that, and I think representing the private sector, we very much would like to collaborate more with the stakeholders.
Thank you, Pak Arthur. So this discussion is getting interesting. So again, we will pass through Pak Doni, Pak. Related to the Pak Arthur explanation and then Pak Hendra presentation, we know that a huge amount of investment is over there, is in our face. We would like to talk about it and then reflect to the previous investment implementation in the previous RUPTL, and what is the most barriers about the financing gaps, financing implementation to conduct the implementation to the projects in these terms for the power energy projects, so we can fulfill all the requirement for the, Pak Arthur says, for the profitability or something else, the financial things for the RUPTL 10 years ahead.
Thank you for the question. And I think actually it's been highlighted. I mean, if you talk about the gap, as it's been highlighted, I think Pak Rahmat challenged me actually when Pak Hendra, you were presenting about the RUPTL and all of the numbers over there. So I counted in the trillions. I think that equates to about, so all of the power generations that you would require about 135 to 140 billion dollars for that RUPTL. So the numbers are 3 point something trillion actually there, 3,000 trillion. Now, the other thing actually that's, so obviously actually that's very big, and PLN is going to fund, as Pak Daniel mentioned, I think it's about a quarter of that, right? Actually, based on the presentation. So based on our calculation, 25% will come from PLN, but 75% others, I mean, the remaining would be from IPPs and private sector financings and so on. And I think actually this is where the gap lies. Based on historical data, maybe if we take last 5 years, only for renewable energy alone, Indonesia would require about $9.1 billion every year of investment if Indonesia is going to its trajectory to meet the NDCs now, or the enhanced NDCs rather. But in reality, I think in average, it's about 2.3 to 2.3 billion dollars that come in every year. So there's a gap about $6 to $7 billion there. So the gap is very clear. Now, having said all that, we know that capital is there in the world. I mean, it's really out there. It's not 135 billion is. I'm not saying actually it's not small money, but actually that capital actually is lying around actually within the world, even actually with one institution or two institutions, if you will. The problem, I think, is Arthur mentioned, is about getting bankability. Now, bankability is not just as simple as bankability from a perspective of IRRs, from a perspective of course, we know that the challenge, I think you did mention, many of the power generation projects as front-loaded capital, capex heavy, and so on. We all know the challenge, typical in an infra project. But the point is that there are also other parts actually where sometimes the appetite of the financiers don't quite meet with the project developers because of various reasons, because of different standards in, uninteroperability, if you will, actually of, different taxonomies and standards and so on. Size does matter. In this case, actually, doesn't mean actually bigger is better. No, not at all. But size does matter in terms of the appetite. There are some projects actually with 3 megawatts, 2 megawatts, but maybe there's not that many takers for that particular project because it's considered, maybe actually it's too small of a size. If it's 100 megawatt, actually we'll take it. That's this type of discussions that we need to bring together. The key point, I think, in order to address this is about collaboration. It's all, to be quite honest, actually, it's nobody actually, there's no silver bullet actually in this. It's all about collaboration, whether country platform like JETPs, whether, the whole sort of entire initiatives actually by UNFFC. It's actually to create actually that engagement, alignment, so that all the capital owners of the world actually can fit in the role across all the different parts of the project in different shape, size, structure, and so on, right? Last but not least, just wanted to highlight, I think the role of international financial institutions, whether that's development banks or private banks, are indeed very critical, and we do want more participation from these banks because, number one, of course, they can structure blended finance and they can expand blended finance models. I mean, there's a lot of models actually in blended finance, the types of de-risking, the types of credit enhancements, and so on. I mean, depending on the size and shape and areas and locations and so on, whether the country is investment grade or sub-investment grade, and, all sorts of things. But there are different variants of that, actually, and I personally don't think, actually, that we, the financiers, actually have really exerted, actually, and come up to the limit, actually, of, innovation, if you will. I think, actually, it's evolving. So that's my point. The second part is, of course, creating, international financial institutions help by accessing the global capital markets, by doing the book buildings, lead management of issuances of the likes of green bonds, blue bonds, transition bonds, and so on. And last but not least, it's, I think, that coalition building itself, capacity building, getting, governments, policymakers, all other parts actually to get together, align, having interoperability of, standards, taxonomies, and ambition. I think that would really help because at the end of the day, transition is not just driven by government, but also by the private sector, i.e. the corporations. So the whole entire actually ambition of corporations in the world is also driven actually by their stakeholders. Now, international banks who lend money to all of these companies actually can play a part in influencing that ambition actually to get us closer to net zero.
Okay, thank you, Pak Denny, for a great explanation. So, I will take the words from your explanation. This collaboration, it's an unique words that it's hard to implement. So, Indonesia established an entity we would like called Rumah Paten or Indonesia Energy Transition Joint Office. And Paido here as executive chairperson from Rumah Paten, and I would like to ask to Paido, and what role does IET Joint Office have to do in terms to integrating all the things that having implemented explanation by the panelists.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moderator. So I was preparing to speak in Bahasa, but it's okay. I think I will survive trying to transmit my messages in English. So basically, I think many of the attendees here just seen the presentation, the socialization of the RUPTL. I think, when was that? Was it like last week or 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And I think at the time it was clear. I think from MEMR about the RUKN, and then from the CEO of PLN on the RUPTL, and then from myself on providing the teaser on connectivity. The whole point of this is basically, we know that the policy is there. We know the dry powder is there. We know the builders are there, and the close to single buyer and owner is here. And so what we need now, what we try to focus to make sure that all will be in tune. And sometimes to make things happen, we have to look a bit lower in the layer of the challenges. And those are the meso issues and the micro issues. And this includes to provide, some, I would say, tools or instruments so that we can provide, or at least try our best to provide 4 items so that we can make sure that business will work at the power sector. So we have to provide the clarity, the certainty, the accountability, and the stability. The stability part is more the policy, and I think Pak Hendra here and Pak Rahmat and the likes in the government that I think they've been trying their best to make sure those policy stability is there. Now, but at the meso and micro level, we have to make sure that all the projects will be implemented. The financing can be transmitted to the to the projects, and one of the tools, instruments that we will hopefully, I think, soon to be launched is the connectivity, and then I think maybe in mid-August, in end of August, during the Indonesia Electricity Investment Summit, ICI. So to fix with the meso and micro, basically to lower the transaction costs of doing all these things, which includes the search costs. For instance, we want to make sure that we can bring discipline in the procurement. We can make sure that all the potential financiers, project developers, project owners can be connected in one area, in one agora, I would say, in one platform, so that they can talk to each other as well. Try, I would say, to democratize the process as well. And these are the things that we are trying. At least we are going to do that, so that the such costs will be lowered. Hopefully by, I mean, this IT-based thing is not the silver bullet. It's not the answer. It's just a tool. In the end of the day, if we have all even digital, if in the end of the day, we still bring it back to the manual, then it will still be, we won't break the wheel. So this is a start. This is a start. We will start by lowering the search costs. Hopefully going forward, it will give the momentum. So it's out there. It's more transparent. It will bring out the discipline from everyone. And then by this, we hope it will bring the accountability going forward and the openness. And who knows, maybe after few number of iterations in the future, then we can even, I would say, more automatize the process going forward, including the procurement. So we will see. But this is a test. What I would like to highlight here is there is this intention that is now translated into action. I think that's the most. Of course, along the way there will be some, gaps here and there, some deficiencies, but we're moving forward. So I think that's the plan. At least we will start from the RUPTL, and one of the things that we will also do is with Pak Daniel here is to do the demand mapping. I think Pak Rahmat mentions about the green demand. So this is also the things that we would also do, the demand mapping going forward, so that we could connect the supply and the demand. Sometimes we discuss a lot about the supply, where is this going to be built, this and that, yeah. But I think we all of us here agree is we need to also make sure that the green demand coming, and then PLN could supply that demand with the green electrons. So that's the whole idea, to bring all the the meso and micro level to lower the transaction and service cost, at least to start with that. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Edo. So it's interesting that I'm synthesize your explanation that we would like rumah paten will acting as one gate entities to accelerate the energy transition programs in Indonesia. But again, we will try to segment the question about the green energy customers to Pak Daniel. So how is PLN preparing to capture and respond to growing green energy demand? We also need that it's not only the natural growth of the demand, but also we need to seek more opportunities, and the green demand is over there. And how is PLN preparing to capture that things?
Okay, if we talk about the green demand, PLN have a long-term strategy. Long-term strategy, it means that we have to have a sustainability, and sustainability is no longer option for PLN, because it's a long-term strategy that we have to conduct to fulfill the green demand. The green demand in PLN, how we capture the green demand, we realize that right now, not only from household that want the green energy, but industry and business also have want to have green energy as well. That's why if we want to, right now we try to make some green ecosystem in PLN, not only from power plant, but only from EV ecosystem that we have to provide for all the infrastructure in EV, and then the rooftop demand from the household, industry. And if we talk about the EV ecosystem right now, based on the data, we can make sure that in the next maybe 5 or 6 years, we will have a huge population about EV in Indonesia. That's why PLN have to prepare for it. Right now, every year, we have to additional about 500 EV charging in the whole area in Indonesia. And right now, it's already around 3,700 EV charging along Indonesia. And we also have a home charging service, that charging station that we put in the house. It's already 3,000 home charging services right now. And battery swap system. We also have battery swap system that we try to develop. And if we want to have the great demand and supply, so our long-term strategy in sustainability have to considering about 3 things. First is about the security and quality of supply, and the second one is about fair and affordable prices, and the third one is about the environmental. That's the 3 things that we have to consider, so we can capture the green demand, and we try to fulfill the green demand. Of course, we have to collaborate with the private sector, maybe, or another party.
Thank you, Pak Daniel. So, in terms of collaborating with the partners from private or others parties, so next question to Pak Arthur. From the perspective of the private, what are the main barriers to fulfill all the requirements related to the green power plant that we will develop in 10 years ahead? What is the barriers about field the technologies or some things in terms of green power plant?
I think for technology, we're quite optimistic, right? There's a lot of technological advances in terms of bringing the cost down. Right? Cost structure is very important because for Indonesia, affordability is very important, right? So we want to make sure that the tariff we will be able to meet, right? Whatever tariff regime is at the moment. But one of the things that makes Indonesia is quite unique, I mentioned this in a previous session, is the fact that we're an archipelago, right? So most of our grid and transmission system is not connected, right? Even between the large islands, between Sumatra and Java. So this remains a challenge, but an opportunity, right? Because then, you're trying to integrate a lot of VRE, variable renewable energy, into the system, right? Which will require a lot of battery energy storage, and we see that in the RUPT already. Up to 10 gigawatts is actually composed of battery energy storage, right? Both from pump storage as well as battery. So the solution is already part of the roadmap. It's actually just the challenge is actually making the interconnection, right, between the systems, and also I think intermittency is something that it will need to be addressed, right? We're used to a system that is very centralized, right? We're trying to move that into something that is more decentralized, right? So again, I think as private investors, we tend to tackle it on a project level basis, right? A lot of the opportunities we see is actually to replace diesel, right? In a lot of the outlying islands, because diesel, the levelized cost to produce energy right now is around close to 20 cents, even more. So that's something that you can easily tackle and replace with either solar or wind, including battery, right? So and that potentially can also avoid a lot of carbon, right, in the system, as well as also providing energy competitively. So that's one way of tackling it. Another way is actually to create demand where the green electricity supply is at, right? So we look at some of the members that are trying to build projects mostly for green industrial estates, because obviously there's a lot of demand for that. But Daniel mentioned about demand, right? A lot of them are actually willing to pay a premium over the standardized tariff as long as they are guaranteed a 100% renewable energy, right? A lot of these RE100 companies and so on and so forth. And one of the initiatives from our members is actually to build an industrial estate that follows the government's initiative to build smelters and downstream industries and things like that, right? There's a lot of critical minerals that are abundant in Indonesia, right? Nickel as well as bauxite, converted into alumina and aluminum, which will require a lot of power, right? A lot of energy, very energy intensive activities. So these are some of the things that I think can become potential, because then you create the demand where the supply is, such as the one that is built in North Kalimantan, right? So I think hydro is one, right? You can build a lot of maybe green hydrogen and ammonia in the areas that are now have a lot of geothermal and hydro and things like that. So I think a lot of solution, you just need to be able to map it out, right? Where the demand is, and try to match it with the current green energy supplies that are basically abundant in Indonesia. So, yeah.
Thank you, Pak Daniel. So demand is theirs, and then potential of source of green energy is theirs, but there is have to fill the capital cost here. So within Pak Doni, do you have any experience to conduct the innovative financial instrument or blended finance mechanism to conduct the investment for the green power plant, maybe?
Yes, we do. Actually, as Standard Chartered, actually, we have done a lot of renewable energy financing across Asia, Africa, Middle East. And every country, of course, every project is very unique in its sense. I can point out actually a couple of things actually that's probably not quite a typical straightforward one. We built, led the coalition of blended financing in Bangladesh for about 450 megawatt in Sonargaon. I think that's one of the largest in Bangladesh on gas-fired power plant. Together with, and again, some investment grade, there is no clear off-taking structure, so there's no PPA like in Indonesia with PLN. So, but together with AIB, with DGs, with a few others, actually, that we collaborated actually, we structured it in such a way that it can actually take off. Another one actually maybe closer to home is Vietnam. As you know, actually Vietnam is not as the same sovereign grade as Indonesia. So the EVN's PPA is not bankable, unlike Indonesia's PLN's PPA, which is bankable. So that gives actually a very sort of different take for financiers. Just to give one perspective. I mean, a lot of similarities, but that is a very fundamental difference between us and Vietnam from a financiers perspective. So we did actually work to structure together with the sponsor. This is the largest in ASEAN solar power plant in Phu Yen. 2023 was financial close, about 257 megawatt. Cirata is the largest floating solar power plant in Indonesia, but this one is a land-based solar. And the way actually that we, got over the issue of the PPAs by allocating the risk structure on every part of the risk of the PPA, whether that is tariff renegotiation, for example, failure actually for payments and so on, actually with each of the sponsors in each of the financiers. So by that way, actually we put actually specific risks actually assigned into specific sort of side of the either sponsors or the financiers. Again, actually, this is just one of the types actually of how we get away actually with that. But in essence, I think actually what is really growing, blended finance is growing, but it does require some policy, sort of navigation and policy incentivization, particularly for banks, for hard to abate sector. So, for example, the PRA in the UK gave an RWA discount of 25%, actually, or capital charge on banks actually who finance sustainable finance. That can be something actually that in ASEAN and Indonesia can be done as well to help actually unlock the potential and lower down the pricing threshold, and of course actually improve the IRR of any projects, helping the bankability in that sense. We see that the offtake-based financing and the types of infra or renewable energy fund structure is getting traction. Now, the next one that we see actually is these types of sustainability-linked loans or sustainability-linked bonds, where it has the flexibility and the outcome-based nature of that would allow better terms for borrowers who actually meets the criteria or the KPIs, right? Whether that's CO2 reduction, whether that's energy efficiencies, and so on. So these are the types of traction. Then last but I know Pak Edo is actually one of the pioneers in this, is the transition credit. I think that's something that we are joining Standard Coalition with MAS and others actually for this traction, transition credit coalition, to build the methodology and to get it actually accepted in the market. So we'll see actually, but these are the types of financing. Then of course you have the whole types of capital markets issuances, whether that's the green bond, blue bond, transition bond, and so on. We did actually the first blue bond for Seychelles, and then nature for debt swap models actually that we did for Bahamas. And there's quite a number of things actually like that, and these are taking sort of place, but of course it's horses for courses. Not one structure actually would fit in actually with others, but there are quite a number out there. But as I said earlier, it's still evolving. I don't think actually we have come to the end of when it comes to product innovation in financing renewable energy.
Thank you, Pak. So we have a huge optimism to reach out all the business development in 10 years ahead. So the last question we will like to give to Pak Rudolf Aritonang. So where is Pak Rudolf? Yes, Pak Rudolf, I would like to ask you about your perspective about how your activities in your companies will conduct all the requirements within the RUPTL for 10 years ahead.
I think there are a lot of good words mentioned, a lot of keywords. I like many of the words mentioned, but I just want to add that I think with this big ambition, then we need speed, right? And speed, from our experience, then it needs not only goodwill, but proactiveness. One of the examples was actually mentioned, PPA with PLN. In 2020, we won a tender for 2 floating solar PVs. 60 plus 50. We came to a bankable PPA, and both PPA were signed before end of December 2024. And then in 2023, we won another floating solar PV, but then the template PPA came back to the original. And obviously, then it doesn't mean speed. Because, you know, when in 2020, a project in 2020, you got a bankable PPA after so many discussions and negotiations, then, I mean, if you have goodwill and proactiveness, I think it's better just to use, it doesn't have to be the same, but, you know, like meet in the middle. You know, that's one of the examples. I think second that I can think of regarding to speed is Indonesia actually needs a champion, you know. The champion can be coordinating Ministry of Infrastructure, for example. A champion who, you know, can take the baton, can de-bottleneck, deregulate, red carpet, whatever needed to achieve that speed, to make this ambitious plan, you know, happens. You know, walk the talk, if you will. One of the things that I really can see and need help on debottlenecking is actually the environmental permit. Because obviously this is green project. We want to make the world greener, Indonesia in particular greener, and it helps the environment. Then I think the local environment should be kind of like a one-stop solution, faster processes, centralized, not making developers confused, you know, all the things. I think those are the simple learnings that I can share from the perspective of international power developer. And I also like the word go big, because I think whenever and wherever possible, if we can accumulate those solar PVs, for example, into a much bigger size in single location, then it would not only drive down the tariff, but it will also help in terms of getting these big projects to stack it up until the end game of this net zero plan and the new RUPTL that was mentioned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Rudolf Aritonang from Acua Power. So we will try to provide one questions. Okay, for one questions. Okay, thank you, sir. And please choose the panelists who will answer your questions.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Burkhard. I am country director of KfW, the German promotional bank based here in Jakarta. I fully understand that the discussion when it comes to energy transition is basically all about renewables and how to increase the share of renewables. And as KfW, we're also pleased to partner with PLN, GeoDeeper, PTSMI, and others. And however, the cheapest kilowatt hour you can use is the one you don't use. So and this is relevant on the supply side as well as on the demand side. So energy efficiency is key. So my question would be to the gentleman from Standard Chartered, sorry. Would that be an issue which is also relevant to you to, let's say, further promote energy efficiency in Indonesia?
The short answer is absolutely yes. As I mentioned, actually, one of the very simple structures actually that we've been doing actually and getting traction across ASEAN is sustainability linked loans, right? Where one of the KPIs, or in fact, actually maybe actually the singular KPIs would be energy efficiency. I mean, that's really actually very clear, and I think actually I got my regional head actually of project finance over here, you know, Anupam, who's overseeing ASEAN. He was updating me actually that in ASEAN actually it is getting actually, but energy efficiency is definitely actually one of that, you know, key parameters actually that we would be financing. The other part actually of energy efficiency is efficiency actually that can generate avoidance credits, and I think actually that's the one actually that we've been trying to work. At least actually our group CEO is one of the, because he's not here, actually evangelist if you will, actually in the world actually of the carbon market. I think he will chair the first sort of global task force of voluntary carbon scaling of voluntary carbon markets and so on. So the point is that all the different kinds of avoidance included. Now, avoidance actually comes from efficiencies, and that's actually something that we wanted actually to get. There's a couple of pilots actually that we are working on right now, and hopefully actually that will become scalable and repeatable. But the short answer is yes. But I'm actually intrigued, actually, why do you ask about that specifically to us? Maybe that's not for the answer, actually, but
I like to add, yeah. I know Pak Burhan doesn't pose the question to me, yeah, but no, but
he comes to my aid actually. So I don't know,
just to basically what Pak Doni mentioned, yeah, because Pak Hendra is here, and I think most of the projects should be there. But I think just the reason I want to jump in, Pak Burhan, is because of the avoidance credit that Pak Doni mentioned, and this is the reason I just want to jump is because I want to basically inform Pak Hendra. It's basically that's the thing that we need to chase. Yeah. So the methodology so that it can be included. I mean, in terms of carbon market, we're opening up. As we know, we are revising the regulations, so on and so forth. And I think some items that are not there need to be included. And one of the opportunities is the avoidance credit coming from energy efficiency projects. So I hope MEMR would, we can discuss after this, yeah, Pak Hendra, but I think we need to push on that because soon we will have the harmonization, and I can assure you, Pak, I will be with you, Pak, to make sure that this avoidance credit will be included. And then hopefully we can have a really, I would say, Pak, don't say speed, right? Because this could speed up. These are the small things that if we accumulate this, then it can create a huge wave impact. So I'm so glad Pak Hendra is sitting here so that Pak Hendra can hear directly from Pak Doni, from Pak Burhan, and from myself as well. Thank you.
And maybe just to add, Pak Edo, actually, Pak Hendra, actually we stand ready to support Pak with the capability, like we did together with Pak Edo on the NBS carbon side of things. Actually, we bring in whether the whole sort of ICVCM, so a whole sort of global coalition to support actually on the avoidance credit actually to get it off the ground.
I'm also working with Pak Daniel as well, yeah, for the EV infrastructure. There's also potential avoidance credit as well. There are many opportunities here, so it's good that we have Pak Hendra as well here. Yeah.
So thank you, gentlemen. So we have a huge amount of discussion after these activities. So please be huge for impacting the Indonesian energy transitions. So we have the end of session. So let me conclude the main three key elements from our discussion. So we have to conduct the strategic alignment within all the parties. We have here PLN as off-taker, government as regulatory policies, and then private as implementer, also financier as financial support, and here we have Rumah Paten integrating all these things and make it happen. And Rumah Paten is our epicentrum of energy and collaboration. Thank you so much, because no solution without distribution and also no transition without transmissions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for all the panelists and moderator. We will now take a group photo. We would like to invite Pak Hendra to please come on stage and take the picture together. To all the panelists and moderator, please stay on stage and gather at the center of the stage to pose. To all the panelists and moderator, we would like to invite to please come forward, yes. And look at the camera to pose. Camera ready in 3, 2, 1. Once more, pose in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. To all the panelists and moderator, you may all return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICI 2025 project catalog provides a comprehensive overview of infrastructure projects proposed by line ministries, state-owned enterprises, and government institutions. You can access the full catalog at infrastructureconference.id/project-catalog. Each project listing includes a contact person. Please feel free to reach out directly. If you would like to arrange a one-on-one meeting, instructions are provided in the catalog. For more in-depth engagement, we have also scheduled information sessions for business matching on Thursday, June 12, hosted by project owners, Ministry of Housing and Settlement, Nuri Room at 9 a.m., and Ministry of Public Works in Murai Room at 12:30 p.m. Additionally, please visit the exhibition hall where you'll find various booths showcasing numerous investment opportunities. We encourage you to stop by and connect with the project representatives. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up the thematic session for today, we would like to thank you for your participation. I'm Raisa Azahra signing off, and see you again tomorrow at International Conference on Infrastructure 2025.
We, Utama Karya, present our innovations in the construction industry with every changing era. Supported by the professionals in their fields, the latest construction technology operation techniques. We commit to generate best outcomes, aiming to deliver an equitable distribution of beneficial infrastructure for the entire country and build a bright future for our civilization. Our flagship infrastructure works from bridges, buildings, dams, and sustainable toll road infrastructures, showcasing our high commitment to protecting nature and the environment. We believe that our every step will shape our future, ensuring a developed future Indonesia. Utama Karya, innovation for solution.
Impian untuk hidup yang lebih berwarna, lebih dekat, lebih berarti. Karena rumah bukan sekadar bangunan, tapi sebuah benih untuk masa depan. Ini visi kami untuk menjadi pengembang pemukiman dan perumahan rakyat terpercaya di Indonesia. Bersama sejumlah lembaga terkemuka, Perumnas menyatukan impian dan menenun harapan kepemilikan rumah bagi setiap anak negeri. Dalam kebersamaan, kita menciptakan dunia bagi benih muda untuk tumbuh, belajar, dan berkembang. Perumnas, sebuah simfoni mimpi di mana setiap sekatnya membawa benih harapan akan masa depan yang lebih cerah. Bersama, kita bisa mewujudkan impian di tanah air tercinta.
For more than 7 decades, PLN has carried out the state's mandate to electrify the whole Indonesian archipelago. PLN is entering a new chapter in its transformation, aiming to become not just a power and utility company, but also a technology company based on innovations. All of this is to improve service quality, strengthening the domestic industrial ecosystem, and increasing competitiveness in the global stage. For more than 7 decades, PLN has carried out the state's mandate to electrify the whole Indonesian archipelago. With an installed power generation capacity of more than 75 gigawatts, PLN serves more than 90 million customers in sharpening its vision as the leading electricity company in Southeast Asia. And as the #1 customer choice for energy solutions, PLN continues to develop programs on an ongoing basis, strengthening its role as the heart of Indonesia for the sustainability of energy supply and the transition to renewable energy. Now, PLN is entering a new chapter in its transformation, aiming to become not just a power and utility company, but also a technology company based on innovations. All of this is to improve service quality, strengthening the domestic industrial ecosystem, and increasing competitiveness in the global stage. The new PLN 4.0, unleashing energy and beyond. For more than 7 decades, PLN has carried out the state's mandate to electrify the whole Indonesian archipelago. With an installed power generation capacity of more than 75 gigawatts, PLN serves more than 90 million customers in sharpening its vision as the leading electricity company in Southeast Asia and as the #1 customer choice for energy solutions. PLN continues to develop programs on an ongoing basis, strengthening its role as the heart of Indonesia for the sustainability of energy supply and the transition to renewable energy. Now, PLN is entering a new chapter in its transformation, aiming to become not just a power and utility company, but also a technology company based on innovations. All of this is to improve service quality, strengthening the domestic industrial ecosystem, and increasing competitiveness in the global stage. The new PLN 4.0, unleashing energy and beyond.
Ini cerita akselerasi kita yang selalu aja ada tantangan pas kita lagi melesat.
Berat banget ya.
Mau nyerah aja, enggak kan?
No lah, big no.
Bagus, ini waktunya akselerasi. Makin banyak tantangan, makin banyak jalan. Ya nggak sih?
Yoi!
Asal...
Niat!
Nah, gitu. Kalau mau berakselerasi itu harus rame-rame.
Rame ini?
Yes! Mantap!
Menyala bangku!
Yeah! Gak cuma sekedar wujudin mimpi, tapi ciptain inovasi. Semangat akselerasi ngedorong kita untuk terus berkolaborasi, biar ngasih impact positif buat bangsa Indonesia. Ayo, wujudin swasembada energi dengan terus berakselerasi tanpa henti. Pertamina, energizing the acceleration, energizing you.
Perubahan pasti terjadi. Tak bisa dihindari, taklukkan semua ambisi. Berjalan seiring perubahan, jelajahi semua kemajuan zaman. Tunjukkan pada dunia, kita mampu berelevasi jadi bangsa yang luar biasa.